And on this edition of Talking Preps, pleased to be joined by Michelle Smith, the head volleyball coach at Bentonville High School. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning to you, Blair.
First off, you had practice today. What on earth is going on with those dogs? What did practice look like today? Are you able to scrimmage? Or are you still doing drills? What are you allowed to do?
So practice looks great. We are still wearing our masks. I might even have an imprint from my mask that I just took off and wore it for 2.5 hours straight. So coaches are still wearing them. We really haven't switched up too much as far as the safety protocols. Girls are still wearing masks if they're outside of a drill, 6 feet of distance. We're still sanitizing before, during, and after practice. So like I was telling you, the volleyballs, the volleyball locker room, our equipment has never been cleaner and never smelt so good. So that's a plus, that's a bonus. But as far as what's kind of changed since the governor's announcement last week is we're doing more scrimmage-like drills. Does that mean we get relaxed? No, we're just able to focus on some more dynamics of practice in the team setting versus the one-on-one and kind of the stationary drills that we were previously doing. So now there's a lot more movement, a lot more game-like scenarios.
But it's not full court, teams represented on both sides scrimmaging. You're not doing that
Yeah,
yet.
so no, we're not doing that. Technically our season is a go, but we're still waiting for guidelines from the AAA as far as that board that's set up, and they're coming out with some guidelines as to what our season will look like. So as far as wearing the jerseys yet, we got them ready, but we haven't put them on.
Now, when is your season supposed to start? We're what, 2 weeks out?
It is supposed to start August. We have a benefit game August 20th, which is what, 2 weeks from today.
Yeah. So ideally, that would not be the first time you would hope that you actually have on court against each other. How much time do you need to do a full court simulated games, so to speak, before you start playing games?
Trying to find the silver linings. If a Division I program, when back in the day when I was at the U of A, if we were reporting the beginning of August and we can, granted, do 2 days, 3 days, but get ready in 2 weeks for a season, granted, a lot of us were training throughout the summer, but these girls have been training throughout the summer in just a modified form and fashion, then as a head coach, I can get these girls ready in 2 weeks. So I can sit there and go, golly, we need more time. Or I can sit there and go, if a Division I program can do it, then I can do it. It might not look pretty at times, but we're going to do it, and we're going to get ready depending on what start date we have. That's why we're anxiously waiting from AAA to see what those guidelines are and when the true start date is.
Yeah, and not to put you on the spot with that, but I think in fairness to the athletes, they need to be given proper time so they don't go out their first game and it looks like, some kind of rec league ball, because these kids have been training, and I think that's something people forget. I mean, yeah, practices have been different but like you said, they've been working on this all summer. I think they're entitled to the opportunity to go out there and be at their best when they compete. I think that's only fair to the athletes and the coaches.
Yeah, it definitely. And then, even through June and July, we're practicing and we're trying to stay positive. But then there's always that little piece in the back of your mind going, what are we practicing for? But when the governor said, okay, we're going to have a season, the energy and the excitement that came into the gym last week was totally different, because now we know what we're practicing for. We don't know when. It might be the 24th, might be the 20th, it might be September, but we know we're practicing for something. I honestly, these girls are resilient. Teenagers are phenomenal. And I think if we didn't even have a season, they'd come out and practice every single day because they love it so much and they love each other. And this is their sense of normalcy that they need for their mental health and their physical health.
Oh, no question about it. And everybody focuses on the physical health, but mental health just as, if not more so, important, because they've had so many things taken away, and this is such an important part of their life and their school life. So
yeah, and we talked about that. You know, great lesson learned. I think I know everyone will come out of this pandemic stronger and more appreciative and more thankful. You know, you have the odd athlete here and there that will have a career-ending injury or a season-ending injury, and they always come back so thankful, so humble. And as a coach, I'm sitting there going, you know, you don't wish an injury upon anyone, but if they could have that mental mind frame, that state of taking every day as it's your last, I think we would be a much stronger team. So right now, every team out there across the nation is practicing like every day is their last. So, you know, not knowing what is to come, what their season will look like, the energy, the commitment, just pure humbleness out there is amazing to see from these athletes, and how much stronger they have become in a weak situation, in a situation where maybe they have been stuck at home. They haven't had the socialization that they need. And I see it in my own kids, you know, when my little 5-year-old's going, Mommy, I just want to go somewhere. I just want to go do something. You know, I'll wear my mask. You can see it across the board of their mental health and what these kids need.
how inspiring is that for you as a coach?
It gives you goosebumps. It almost brings tears to your eyes. You're sitting there going, golly, they want to be out here so bad. And, you know, walking in the gym as a coach and seeing the lights off and the balls put away. And then when you finally walk in and you hear the sneakers and, and you smell the knee pads and, you know, you're going, even as a coach, like, golly, I've taken this for granted and I miss it.
Talking about the precautions, what are the precautions? You talk about wiping the ball down and all, and getting the locker room ready. How much additional time does that take?
It's about 30 minutes prior when we do everything. And granted, we have three amazing managers that are helping the team out and getting things cleaned out and ready. So 30 minutes prior, 30 minutes after. But what's really taking the beef of practice is in between each drill. It's, hey girls, pick out 3 balls to sanitize, or hey girls, take the whole cart and sanitize it because we just used every single ball. The weight room, spacing things out, bringing the weights out into the gym where there's more room, sanitizing every single weight in between, you know, the stations. That does take time, but like you and I joked about, things have never been cleaner. And honestly, we'll come out of this pandemic looking at things in a different way, going, oh, that needs to be cleaned.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned too, the support staff that help you with that. I mean, they're kind of the unsung heroes, because not only do they have your sport at your school, but they've got all the other sports that they're helping out with. And those people are really maybe not getting the appreciation they deserve.
Chris Hutchins, Scott Passmore, you know, our IDs out there, coming into just a weird situation, they're very comforting to tell me, hey, Michelle, we got you. Coach Smith, we got this. You worry about practice. We'll supply you with all the sanitization needs, and we'll take care of you. Right down to season, like what's to come. We will supply the social distancing signs. We'll take care of you. You worry about season. So like you said, they're the ones behind the scenes that might not get the recognition, that deserve the recognition, because the stress is on their shoulders too, and they're trying to take care of their coaching staff.
Obviously, the governor mentioned everybody's got to wear their mask at all times. Do you talk to your team about that? Because granted, you can control when they're within the confines of when you have them, but they're out of, I mean, it's almost like he's putting a lot of pressure on coaches, but it's not just coaches. Parents have got to be involved. And I'm sure you have great parents, but is it fair to kind of put all that on the coaches that they've got to get everybody wear their mask when you only have limited control over these kids?
So we definitely stress it day in and day out. In June, it was kind of like, is this really happening? Is this real? Should I wear my mask? Okay, I'm going to. But then once we got into July, the numbers started increasing. You know, it was in front of them. That's where it became reality. And as a coaching staff, we didn't have to push it as much. The mask was on. Now it's becoming a routine. So under our wings, very controlled. But when we let them, so to speak, leave the nest and go home, That's where I'm sending weekly updates to parents. I'm asking for their help. They're teenagers. They need to socialize. They need to get out. But what does that look like when they leave the gym? Are they, taking their precautions outside of the gym? These girls want to be here. These athletes want to be here. We have great parents. We're staying healthy. We're trying to do our part. And I know the parents want it just as much as the kids do. So like I said, May, June, you're going, okay, this is kind of happening. July, August, it's happening. It's here. We have to take our precautions. We have to wear our masks in order to have a season. So it's definitely not a chore anymore. It's just a routine.
Yeah, and I would think, and as I think about that, the athletes are probably the more likely to buy into wearing the mask because they've got something at stake.
They have so much on the line.
Yeah, it's everybody else who doesn't maybe have some, so to speak, skin in the game, who could cost them their sport. So it's kind of it's a
as far as
situation.
the athletic world, we've been going since June 1st. There's the odd case here and there, but as a whole, the state of Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, everyone's been doing their job in the athletic world. It's in a few weeks that when the doors open, the floodgates open, that's when we're really going to see how much control we can have over this situation. And everyone's trying to do their part. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So when it comes to a game, are you, as a coach, having to wear a mask the entire time?
That is what we're waiting on AAA. We're waiting on those regulations. Personally, I see the coaching staff wearing a mask the entire time until those cases really drop. We've recommended different situations to the coach that's on that board meeting and giving ideas. And, it's Laura Crow from Conway. She's going to represent volleyball, and she's amazing. I love her. So hopefully her voice is heard, and they're taking that into consideration as to what a game situation would look like. Modifying, adjusting, little things as having ball rollers who clean the balls every serve, to the 3 feet of distance, to the masks, to what a huddle would look like. All those, right down to what a tournament would look like, and if we can have tournaments or travel. So there's a lot of work by the AAA going into this and all these guidelines. It's not just a meeting that they throw things together. Like they're doing some amazing work right now. We're just waiting on the results of what it'll look like.
Yeah, and the hard thing for them is you've got so many sports and different scenarios.
Oh, gosh.
Have you watched any of the pro sports going on right now, just from the aspect of to see how the coaches are, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, and how that, just from that standpoint?
Yeah, some of the Major League Baseball games that are going on and the cardboard fans that are in the stands, give me a good chuckle. But, it comes down to the game. And I think our world has become so extra where, you got the cheerleaders, you got the band, you got the fans, you got the, which is all great. But what does it come down to? It comes down to the game, and it comes down to the athletes. So when I watch it on TV and people are, hemming and hawing, going, oh, there's no fans, there's no this, there's no that. But we're there to watch a game, and we're there to watch athletes. And in Canada, I didn't grow up with all the extra. I didn't grow up with the mascots and the cheerleaders, and we went out and we played, and that's why we were there. It gives you a new appreciation for just the game and what the game is about, and not all the extra stuff, all the bells, all the whistles. Like I said, which is great, but it's gonna humble us and make us realize what it's about. And it's about the game, and it's about the athletes, and it's about the love of the sport. So if you can look past all of that other bells and whistles and just focus on the sport, then you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I've enjoyed watching, the soccer and the hockey and baseball to a degree, is the focus is on the game. We've gotten away from that.
We've gotten away from what it really matters.
Yeah.
And we're too worried about everything else that's going on. And that's where, as a coaching staff, I've always sat down and said, we're here to play, and we're here to have fun, and we're here to teach life lessons. It's not about everything else that's going on. Yeah, that's great and that's nice, but at the end of the day, when all is said and done, what is it about? It's about the sport.
True. Now, I know you mentioned they haven't set the regulations, but I had a couple notes and I just wanted to throw this at you. Is it conceivable, because in volleyball, your hands are the main thing that touch the ball, that they could wear gloves?
No.
Is that even realistic to think? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because just that's one of your main senses is touch.
Yeah.
So to feel it, and then even if you were to get grip gloves, like you could be called for a lift because it would stick to the ball too much. And then even your passing platform, just having that extra added bumps, curves, cushion could throw things off. And then, honestly, you look at gloves. Well, now you got the germs on your gloves. You're gonna have to sanitize those anyways. You're taking them on and off. It's just another piece of equipment to sanitize when you could just sanitize these.
Yeah, and the big question too, I think, is, and I've experienced this umpiring this summer, is sweat, because your natural inclination is to swipe at it, and you're not supposed to touch your face.
Yeah.
So how do you keep the kids from sweating?
It's funny, the first month or two, going way back into April, May, going into Walmart, like I'm sitting there going, you're trying not to touch your face. So the girls they've become more diligent. It's nice that they have a t-shirt or something to wipe their sweat on, but instead of touching their face, we've taught them to just kind of wipe. And the minute they get home, take that jersey off, take that practice shirt off and wash it. And then we're obviously sanitizing our hands in between every drill. But instead of wiping the sweat off, use something to wipe it off. Maybe we'll bring back the good old 1970s sweatband and rock it.
Yeah, I think headbands and sweatbands are going to be big.
We might as well.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't want, that's the main thing, you don't want to touch your face, and you're just inclination, human nature is to
and
do
that sweat dripping into your eye, you kind of need to see the volleyball. So
yes, very much so. Well, and so I would assume in a game, the plan, every time the ball goes out, new ball comes in, sanitize the old one.
That's my plan, to have ball rollers and our spray bottles, our sanitization. So we'll have 3 balls rotating within a game, and every time a ball goes out, it sanitizes, and that new ball that comes in for that server is spick and span, nice and clean.
Granted, there's no coaching manual anyway, but there's no manual for how to coach in a pandemic and adjust on the fly. And I know it's tough, but in a way, is it kind of, it's a good challenge, because you want to be a better coach today than you were yesterday. And so these challenges are tough, but you meet them head on and you just kind of roll with it. Is it, I wouldn't say enjoyable, but is that something you kind of relish in a sense?
I think
instead of the same old status quo. As
a coach, as a mom, as a teacher, when you get challenged in life in general, it's hard. Nobody likes it. But you always come out stronger. You always come out with more knowledge on how to handle that situation. So I'm looking at this like anything else. If my daughter challenges me, I got 24 daughters out there right now. If I'm challenged in a situation with my coaching career or my teaching profession or mommy at home, it's going to be hard. It's going to hurt. I might not like what I hear. I might not like what I have to do, but I'm going to come out better. I'm going to come out stronger. I'm going to come out a better coach. So once again, it's how you look at it.
Is it hard during this time to separate the roles of coach and wife and mother?
So over the years, granted, I'm not a veteran, but going into year 18, I've really learned to wear different hats and how to wear those hats. I have to come in here, I have to take my mom hat off at 7:30 in the morning, and I have to put my coach's hat on. When I go home, I have to take that coach's hat off and put the mom hat on. And then when I go into the classroom, I have to put the teacher hat on and take the coach hat off. And then when my husband comes home, I have to put the wife hat on and take the coaching hat off because I can't talk to him like a coach or a teacher. That doesn't go over
Yeah.
well. So there are multiple hats that I've learned to wear and when to take them off. I can't talk to my girls at home like a coach or a teacher. They need mommy. And so trying to find that healthy balance, that healthy mental balance for my family, for my volleyball girls, for my profession, for my coaching staff. I'm juggling a lot of hats right now. And once again, I'm going to come out of this stronger and better.
Awesome. Well, Michelle, I appreciate your time. I always enjoy visiting with you. And
right back at you, Blair.
Yeah, we could talk all day.
I know.
But you've got a lot of hats to wear. You're very busy, so I don't want to take up any more of your time.
No problem. You go put on that dad hat and that dance recital hat, okay?
Oh, I know. Gosh, and it's an expensive hat too. Would love to catch up with you in a couple weeks when hopefully we actually have games to talk about, and we can talk about your team and what to look forward to.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure this is going to be another big year for the Bentonville Tigers, right? And you've got a new conference opponent, which makes things in the West a little more interesting, does it now?
Southside is going to bring a whole new level of game, which is exciting. That's why we're here. That's why we play them. They're kind of been bounced around. They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. Well, they're back, and it's going to be a tough one. But we're excited, and it's like I said, is playing teams like that just makes you better.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Okay, sounds good.